Fair warning to anyone watching this video, there's going to be heavy comparisons to the other Bourne movies, because that's what I need to do to illustrate my points. The Bourne Legacy is a movie that follows Jeremy Renner, and he plays Aaron Cross, who is a guy that's in this project called Outsource, and what he really does is he just lives out in Alaska, and one day certain things go down involving Jason Bourne, and they decide to burn the project to the ground. That means killing everyone involved, scientists, all of the people that they created from the project. So they go on that, and everyone dies except for him and Rachel Weisz, who plays one of the scientists. And since they're the only ones left, they're trying to evade the government, so yeah, they're essentially just trying to stay alive. Now look, going into the Bourne Legacy, here's how it went for me. The trailers originally looked pretty good to me. They had some cool action shots in the trailer. I thought Jeremy Renner was going to do really well, and I was really happy Edward Norton was in there. But over time, it just started losing hype for me, and the fact that Matt Damon was not in there, after I watched all 3 Bourne movies in the past few days, it just shot down. Oh my god, I was so not looking forward to this going in. But I sat in the theater with an open mind, and you know what? No. Just no. This proves to me you cannot do a Bourne movie without Bourne. Imagine if they did the new Bond movie, Skyfall, except Bond wasn't in it, and it was just some random guy who happened to have a similar skill set to Bond, but he didn't have any of the stylishness or coolness about Bond, or in this case for Jason Bourne, the human factor and the actual ability to get hurt. I'm going to try and get some of the good out of the way first before I just go into complete, almost rant territory. Jeremy Renner and Rachel Weisz in this movie, they are very good because they have good chemistry together. Jeremy Renner is actually much better than her, but she's still good. He's great in this movie, and I don't blame him for me not feeling for his character. I blame that on the writing. Tony Gilroy will get to you soon, but I blame the writing for that. He doesn't have enough material to make us really feel like he's a real person who has issues like Jason Bourne was. Rachel Weisz is good also for what she's given, but she's only there for aid in a few scenes for Jeremy Renner. She doesn't really do much. Edward Norton in this movie was fucking useless. Again, he was great for what he had, but this script just sucks. He just had nothing to do except sit in a CIA headquarters and just yell at people. You see a couple familiar faces from the earlier Bourne movies, and that was nice to see, but they had tiny roles, so there wasn't much for them to do either. And Matt Damon's not in the movie. I know that's not a surprise for most people, but I was originally going and thinking that they might have a little cameo. I don't know. I was hopeful, and that didn't happen, so that made me sad. The action in the movie. There is a very little amount of action in this movie, and that really saddens me. Because in the Bourne movies, the trilogy, they mixed the action in the story very well. There was a chunk of action, like a good long scene, like a chase scene or a big fight scene of action. And that was really enjoyable. It was intense action because you really felt for the character. And then there was a good chunk of story where he's trying to find things or whatever he's doing. And then you get more action. It was balanced nicely in those movies. And in this movie, there's like 2 scenes of action, then fucking an hour and a half of talking. Probably more than that of talk. It's at least an hour 45 of talking, it has to be. And look, I went into this movie, I really wanted to like it, because I like Bourne, and I wanted to like this movie. I really gave myself to the movie, and it just spit back at me in my face. These things that happen in the first hour or so of the movie, you see what's going on, but you don't really understand it because they don't tell you anything. When they're killing the operatives for Outsource, you get that why they're doing it, but you don't really understand all the things surrounding it, and that was kind of pissing me off. Also, this movie has some of the worst pacing I've seen all year, my word. There are certain scenes that just go on for minutes and minutes and minutes past where they should have ended because they needed to write more in for no reason, apparently. And then the action scenes, they last for 20 seconds. So they didn't even that out. They took away from the action and placed more talking that was unnecessary. Oh, that's one of the worst parts of the movie. And there are little things sprinkled in there, supposed to be, I guess, nods to the other Bourne movies. Like, there's a chase scene on a motorcycle, Ultimatum. They even copy a scene from the Ultimatum where, rides up that huge cement block. It was like a carbon copy of it, and I was pissed at that. And there are all these just little things that go on, like they mention him, and then there's this one scene where Jeremy Renner tells a wolf, "You should have left me alone." Like, remember the scene in the Bourne Supremacy where Matt Damon said, "You should have left me alone"? That scene had power. There was a huge amount of anger behind that line. In this movie, it's almost treated as a joke. He just says it to a fucking wolf, and that's it. Oh my god. I was sitting there, I was steaming. Like, remember in the Bourne Identity where Bourne goes up to Marie and he just says, "I'll give you $10,000 to drive me." That's a good reason for someone to drive you. That's a lot of money. I know you shouldn't trust strangers, but still, he gave her an incentive to do that. In this movie, they have a similar scene where Jeremy Renner is trying to convince Rachel Weisz to stay with him. He essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, but he essentially says, "If you don't stay with me, you're gonna die, bitch." And that's it. And then she just goes with him, and they become best friends and fall in love, and and it's little things like that that just pile on top of each other that just got me pissed. I know this is a little bit off topic for the movie, but I just wanted to address this because it also pisses me off. Some people online have been saying that Jeremy Renner's character Aaron Cross would be able to beat up and or kill Matt Damon's character Jason Bourne. I just wanted to address that by saying, in this movie, Jeremy Renner fights a bunch of rent-a-cops. That's why he's not challenged and looks like a super soldier. Because he is not challenged in the least physically in this movie. Not once at all. He either just shoots them from a distance, he throws something and shoots them, he uses a fire hydrant. Not even the end scene had a fight physical. And Matt Damon in every single Bourne movie got tested physically by people who were up to his caliber of fighting. That's why he looked like he was getting the shit beat out of him. That's also why he was a real character, because he got beat up. There was always this sense of danger for him that you didn't feel for Jeremy Renner's character, because he's just like Superman. I'm just saying, if Jeremy Renner faced off with Matt Damon would kill him, because Jeremy Renner's character, from what I've seen, has never been tested by someone of that caliber, and he would be caught off guard and he would get destroyed. End rant. Bourne Legacy is not very disappointing to me because I didn't go in with high expectations. It gets a very low, small popcorn. Don't go see it, especially if you're a fan of the Bourne movies. I know Jeremy Renner gave it his all, but it's just not enough. I'm sorry. So what do you guys think of the Bourne Legacy? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What's your favorite Bourne movie? And if it's Legacy, I'll pretend I don't read it, but you can put it down there anyway. Mine would have to be Ultimatum. It's just the perfect way to wrap up the trilogy. Rate, beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button up there, because if you don't, I don't even remember who I am. Again, thanks, Total Recall, now Bourne.